right, welcome back everybody to another episode of the stay-at-home outdoor home cooking show. We're going to be giving you guys a recipe every day at 1 p.m. when you tune in live. That way in the coming weeks you'll have a little more culinary inspiration to get you through the day. Today I'm going to be making you apple cinnamon pork chops in a cast iron skillet on the big green egg. So one of our first steps is going to be getting the egg to right about 350. We're going direct cooking with a cast iron skillet that's been in there for a few minutes already to preheat it. Get a couple of my ingredients. All right. First step is to get a little bit of butter in your pan. Get that melting. Stir it around a little bit. And now these pork chops are probably about 3/4 to an inch thick. And you want to make sure that the cast iron skillet's nice and hot, so the butter gets nice and hot. So when you put these in there, you immediately hear a sizzle. Now, a little pro tip is that once you put these in here, you don't touch them. And we're going to go, I would say, about 2 minutes per side. We'll get a nice golden crust on there. I'll go ahead and close the egg for now. And I'm going to start chopping up my onions and my apples. Now, I think it's probably going to take maybe not a whole yellow onion. You can use white onion, you can use whatever you like. And then whatever kind of apples you prefer as well. Don't make fun of my knife skills while you watch from home. I'm home taught. Now, cooking pork chops on the egg is probably one of my favorite things to do by far. The egg does such a nice job of keeping a cut of meat like pork from drying out. And I'll tell you what, every time my father-in-law is in town, says, "Hey Aaron, why don't you cook me some pork chops on the egg?" And the other thing he always wants with his pork chops is applesauce. So I've started making him this exact recipe every time he comes down, and he just loves it. Looking about maybe another minute before we're gonna flip the pork chops. And you can cut the apples and the onions into whatever shapes you want. I mean, this usually works best for me when it comes to timing. And I leave the skins on because I like the texture that gives it as well. All right, let's swing back over here. Let's take a look at how these pork chops are doing. Do need a little bit more time, I would say. Give it a little look-see. Yeah, it still needs more time. Got a little bit of rosemary here that I'm probably going to add at the end, but since we got a little bit of time, I might as well pull some of these sprigs off. Another nice thing about doing this in the cast iron skillet is that, you know, it saves you a whole bunch of dishes. When you can make the whole dish in one pan, everybody that's on dish duty appreciates it. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip one of these. Doesn't look too bad. Now we're just really trying to get kind of a decent sear on them right now. Get them cooked a little bit. And we could use a little more time. We're a little off level, so some of this butter's kind of pooling down in the bottom and not quite giving me the sear that I would like, but if you scoot them up top, it'll cook good. Okay, now that we've got them, we've got pretty good cook on each side. I'm gonna take them off, put them in a separate pan for them to rest for just a little bit, and they'll continue to cook a little bit more too. Okay, now we're gonna add a little bit more butter. Add all of our onions. And our apples. Make sure to break these up a little bit. They all get a little bit of the taste of the butter. Woo. Now cooking these down probably doesn't take very long because you don't want them to get mushy. You don't want the apples to get mushy. You don't want the onions to get too overdone. What else do we have? Okay, while those cook down, I'll show you we also have ground cinnamon. We're going to use a little bit of cayenne pepper. We've got brown sugar. Like I said, we've got rosemary and some heavy whipping cream that will go in. See the apples starting to release a little bit of those juices and starting to mix with the butter. We don't have to get these really well done because once we put in the rest of this stuff, we're going to put in the heavy cream and it'll actually all cook down real nice. So next, let's sprinkle in some ground cinnamon. Just a wee bit cayenne pepper. You don't have to put that in, but I like a little bit of spice with my sweet. Who's sweet is a little bit of brown sugar. I'm probably going to end up using about 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. Sure that all mixes together. Everybody in the pool. That's already starting to look really good. The sugars And both the apples and the onions are going to start to caramelize along with that brown sugar. Okay. Next step, we're going to put, well actually let's put the heavy cream in first. Now we've got everything ready to go. We're going to nestle these back in there. All those flavors are going to meld real nice together. And then when you're done, you're going to pull the pork chops, put them on a platter, pour your heavy cream and your onions and your apples all together, and then you're done. You got dinner for 4. Well, thanks for joining us again for another installment of the Outdoor Home Stay-at-Home Cooking Show. Just remember, just because you have to stay at home doesn't mean that you have to stay inside your home. And in the meantime, remember to keep calm and egg on. Until then, we'll see you next time.
Yep. Yeah, that looks good. Smells good.